Story 1. It was a nice day at the end of summer, and I decided to treat myself and my service dog to some cool treats in town. My dog's a big guy, a mix of pit bull, German shepherd, and Labrador. He's mostly black with some brindle markings like a Rottweiler, and he's got this cute white patch on his chest and white socks on his paws. We headed to the local ice cream shop in the town plaza. I got myself a turtle sundae and a small vanilla cone for my dog. We were sitting outside, enjoying our ice cream and the nice weather when this woman approached us. Woman: "Hey, would you mind if my kid pets your dog? He thinks he's absolutely adorable." Me: "Sorry, no. He's working right now. Maybe if you catch me some other time." You'd think I'd told her I'd run over her cat or something. The look she gave me could have curdled milk. She walked away to her table, but I could feel her eyes boring into me the whole time I was sitting there. Every 10 minutes or so, her kid would pop up around me and my dog, behind me, next to me, pretty much anywhere he could get close. After this happened a few times, I had to say something. Me: "Hey, kid, you have to leave us alone. He has a job to do, and I need him to help me. You distracting him isn't helping." By this point, we'd finished our ice cream and were getting ready to leave. That's when the woman came back. Woman: "We could really use a dog like that, so calm and friendly. And since he's a service dog, he can help with my panic attacks. How much do you want for him?" I didn't even dignify that with a response. I just got up and started walking away. But she wasn't done. She followed me, going on about how I didn't need my dog, and she did. This went on for about 10 minutes until she ran in front of me and tried to grab my dog's leash. Big mistake. My dog snapped at her, and she fell back. We took that chance to make a run for it and headed straight home. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. About 5 minutes after we got home, the doorbell rang. Now, my dog has 2 modes, working mode and house mode. At home, he's allowed to be a regular dog, which means he guards the house like it's his own personal kingdom. I put him on his leash and opened the door. There they were again, the woman and her kid. Before they could start talking, my dog went into full guard dog mode. He started barking and lunging at them, right in their faces. The kid burst into tears, and the woman just lost it. Woman: "How could you let him do that? He's such an aggressive dog. You shouldn't let him near people. If we see you in public with that dog, I'm going to call the police." And with that, they finally left. I shut the door, feeling a mix of relief and frustration. My dog got a pig ear for being such a good boy, but the whole experience left me shaken. I still can't believe the nerve of that woman. First, she ignored me when I said my dog was working. Then she tried to buy him off me like he was some kind of accessory. And when that didn't work, she actually tried to steal him. Who does that? The worst part is, living in a small town means I'll probably run into her again. Everyone knows everyone here, or at least knows someone who knows you. I'm dreading the next time I see her in town. Will she make good on her threat to call the police? I hope not. But after what happened, I wouldn't put it past her. I guess the lesson here is to always be on guard, even in your own hometown. You never know when you'll run into someone who thinks they're entitled to your service animal. But no matter what, I won't let anyone come between me and my dog. He's not just a pet or a tool, he's my partner, and we're sticking together no matter what. Story 2. My wife and I were lucky enough to catch the aurora where we live. We hadn't really planned where to view it, so on our way home, we stopped at this small local park that had a good view of the sky. The park was closing in about 30 minutes, but we figured we had enough time to enjoy the lights. We spent most of that time just admiring the beautiful colors dancing across the sky. It was peaceful and magical. As we were getting ready to leave, with only about 5 minutes left until the park closed, this car came out of nowhere and drove right up to us. We were already heading to our car when the driver rolled down her window. "Woman, what the hell are you guys doing here?" Her tone was annoying and confrontational right off the bat. I tried to keep things calm and explained innocently. "Me, We were just looking for a clear spot to view the northern lights. Woman: well, that's a good reason for me to call the police on you because you're not supposed to be here. I was shocked. We'd made sure it was legal to be in the park because the last thing we wanted was to trespass. There was absolutely no reason for the police to get involved. That's when I noticed something interesting about her car. We live in a rural part of Pennsylvania, and her car had this huge sticker supporting someone running for the House of Representatives in our district. Now, Pennsylvania is a crucial swing state, and our district is pretty evenly split between parties. I already knew who I was going to vote for, and it definitely wasn't the person this lady was supporting. But I decided to play dumb and act like I didn't care about voting. Me: oh, who's that person on your sticker? Are they running for something? She took the bait and started going on and on about how great this candidate was. After she finished her little speech, I dropped my bombshell. Me: well, I wasn't going to vote, but you just convinced me to go out of my way to register and vote against her and whatever party she's in. You should have seen her face. Her mouth dropped open, and she was completely speechless for a moment. But then she recovered and started hurling racial slurs and insults at me. I didn't bother listening to her tirade. Instead, I just said, "Me, democracy's a bitch, isn't it? Maybe you should mind your own business next time." Then I rolled up my window. As we were driving away, I heard a noise that sounded like a tire popping. We were the only two cars in the parking lot, and my tires were fine, so I can only assume it was her car. The whole experience was surreal. We just wanted to enjoy a beautiful natural phenomenon, and instead, we ended up in this bizarre confrontation with an entitled woman who thought she owned the park. Her attempt to intimidate us completely backfired, and now she might have cost her favorite candidate a vote. I still can't believe how quickly things escalated. One minute we're stargazing, the next we're in a political standoff in a park parking lot. It just goes to show you never know what kind of strange encounters you might have, even in your own hometown. The irony of the situation isn't lost on me. Here was this woman supporting a political candidate, and her behavior might have just lost that candidate a potential vote. It's a perfect example of how personal interactions can influence political opinions, especially in a swing district like ours. I wonder if she realizes how counterproductive her actions were. Not only did she fail to intimidate us, but she also potentially damaged her car in the process. All because she couldn't mind her own business and let two people enjoy a natural wonder in peace. In the end, though, I'm glad we stood our ground. We had every right to be in that park, and we weren't going to let some self-appointed guardian bully us. And if her behavior ends up influencing the local election, well, that's on her. Maybe next time she'll think twice before trying to police other people's harmless activities. Story 3. This happened about 5 years ago. I was shopping for my family at the Midwest's best grocery chain. Let's call it M. Normally, I dislike shopping on Sundays because it's always chaotic, and I usually order groceries online if I wait that long. However, I needed a break from my amazing family after a lot of togetherness over the last few days. My dear mother-in-law had suddenly passed from an aneurysm, and we had her funeral on Friday. I needed to clear my mind. Despite being on chemotherapy, which I take on Saturdays so I don't miss work and so my students don't see me looking ill, I decided to go shopping. Back to the story. I ventured out to shop on Sunday, something I dislike, but there I was, determined to get through the crowds. I had my mission face on, one headphone in, listening to an audiobook, and the other dangling out so people would know I was listening to something but could still hear them if needed. The employees at M wear blue shirts with khakis or black pants, or a blue apron with the same pants and always closed-toed shoes. They usually sport a visor or a ball cap. Today, I was wearing a navy shirt with red, purple, and blue flowers, jeans rolled up above my ankles, platform sandals, and pink sunglasses on my head. I looked nothing like their employees, and I was pushing a blue shopping cart through the produce section, minding my own business when Karen first appeared. Karen cleared her throat. I moved to the side, assuming she wanted to look at the blackberries that were on sale for $5. I was engrossed in my book, so I didn't pay her much attention. Then Karen said, Ehim, and cleared her throat again. Karen, excuse me. Me, oh, I'm sorry, I'm almost done. Midwestern manners kicking in, I hurried. Karen, exasperated, excuse me. Me, sorry. I was confused since I had already grabbed my 5 pints of blackberries and was moving away with my cart. Karen, are you done yet? By now, I was walking away, so clearly, yes, I was done. Me, all yours. They all look good. It's a great price, huh? Karen, yeah, but I want the ones you got. You took the best ones. Me, I think they all look pretty good. Sorry, I turned to head to the bananas. Karen, well, that was rude. She said it loudly, but to no one in particular. I kept shopping, laughing to myself, thinking I had just encountered a Karen, but managed to escape unscathed, so I thought. Next, I moved to the bakery department. I was picking up some sweets for my boys ages 4 and 6 and my husband. He was on bereavement leave and would be taking the boys to school the next day, leaving me time to get some grading done before my students arrived. That's when Karen reappeared as I grabbed a 40% off package of donut score. Karen, I was going to get those. Mind you, I had already put them in my cart before she even got there. Me, oh. Well, that's unfortunate. I thought, here we go again. Karen, it's not fair. You're taking all the good stuff for yourself. Me, well, I guess you should have gotten ahead of me then. Karen, no, you need to share with the other customers. Me, I'm pretty sure the store operates on a first-come, first-served basis. But whatever. Karen, customers shouldn't have to wait for you to take their stuff. Me, still not realizing she thought I worked there whatever. Hun, I don't have to cater to you. I walked away with my donuts. Karen, I said I want entitled dad those. She yelled as I ignored her and walked off. Karen was not pleased, but I thought I was done with her. Oh, how wrong I was. After quickly grabbing popsicles for my boys in the frozen section, I headed over to the fish and bacon area. Yes, they're strangely together in this store when Karen showed up again. This time, she was talking to an older lady nearby. Karen, don't you just hate when entitled employees take things and hide them for themselves? They think they're so special and ignore the paying customers. I couldn't help but laugh at her nonsense and replied as they were blocking my path. Me, I always assume those people are on break or something. I haven't worked retail in years, but I think everyone should at some point. It helps you appreciate how hard the job is. The older lady smiled at me and said, "You're absolutely right." This seemed to enrage Karen even more, but she hadn't exploded yet, so I continued shopping. I was in the wine section, trying to decide if I should buy a new bottle or finish the one I had at home, when Karen approached yet again. I naively thought maybe she had realized I didn't work there, but no such luck. Karen, I suppose you're going to get some wine too. Me, nope, I'm going to drink what I already have at home. But this one is good if you're looking for something decent. Karen, I should have known you were an alcoholic. Me, laughing what? Karen, an employee who uses their discount to get cheap wine. You're sad. Me, actually, you're the sad one. And I don't work here, so please leave me alone. I'm done with your entitled behavior. At this point, Karen reached out and yanked my headphones out of my ear. They were a cheap pair, but still. Karen, how rude. Take those out. Me, excuse me? Do not touch me again, lady. Karen, I've had enough of you and your sad alcoholism. Me, sarcastically, that's funny. I've had enough of you and your rude behavior. And for the record, I drink maybe a glass every few days to unwind after work. Not here, by the way. Karen, don't lie to me. I know you work here. Me, no, I don't. But I do shop here often, so maybe you've seen me. I've never worked for him. Karen, yes you do. You're wearing their colors. Me, so because I'm wearing a blue shirt with flowers, I work here? Karen, you work here. Me, laughing hysterically at my Karen in the wild moment. Okay, lady. Karen, wait here. I'm getting your manager, and you'll be sorry. She then reaches into my cart and takes my donuts. I laughed and took them back. Karen, furious, red-faced manager. As I walked away, 2 other customers approached me. Customer 1, what's her problem? Me, I guess she thinks I work here and employees must bow down to her. Customer 2, you handled her so well, I would have been frantic. Customer 1, wait, I think I know you. Are you my kid's teacher? Me, I am. Who's your child? Customer 1, shares child's name. Me, laughing, yup, how's their project going? We chatted for a bit, but as we heard Karen still yelling for a manager, we all quickly got back to our shopping, trying to avoid further drama. I finished up my shopping on the non-grocery side of the store and headed to the checkout. I thought I had escaped the Karen saga, but no such luck. As I stood in line with a full cart, I heard that all too familiar voice. Karen, let me in front of you. I reported you to your manager, and she said she'd deal with you later. Employees should go after customers. Me? I don't know who you talked to, but again, I don't work here. I've waited for 2 customers ahead of me already, and while you have fewer items, I won't offer you anything after how insufferable and narcissistic you've been. Karen, that's it. This nasty woman hit me with her cart. I'm getting your manager. Karen stormed off, yelling for a manager as I began to unload my cart. Normally, I'd let someone with fewer items go ahead of me, but after chemo, I wasn't feeling well and just wanted to get home and rest. Luckily, my treatment doesn't leave me bedridden, but I still don't feel great. The kind cashier noticed how pale I looked and asked if I needed help. They mentioned that a manager had already been called because of the earlier incident with Karen. Normally, I'd decline help, but this time I accepted, sitting on the bench in front of the checkout while they unloaded my cart for me. As I was getting up to pay, Karen reappeared with the manager. Karen, yes, that's her. She's still here. Now take care of her. She was rude and took all the good stuff. I bet she steals too. Manager, looking confused, ma'am. She isn't an employee. She shops here often, so maybe you've seen her before. Karen, you're telling me she doesn't work here. Ha, I don't understand why you're covering for her. She stole from my cart. Customer 1, still nearby, loudly said. No. You stole from her cart? She just took it back. Karen, well, employees shouldn't get all the discounted things. Manager, ma'am, employees are allowed to buy whatever they want, but again, she doesn't work here. Karen, she's a thief. Me, please, just leave me alone. I'm feeling quite ill. If you need to check the video, I'll wait. But could someone put away my frozen item, please? The cashier who saw Karen hit me turned to the manager. I think you should check the video from my lane too. Karen, I did nothing wrong. Manager, no one said you did, ma'am. She raised an eyebrow. A store security employee came over and said to the manager, I think you'll find that the lady in pink was harassing the customer repeatedly and even hit her. We can review the video if charges need to be pressed. Me, I just want to get home. I think I'm going to be sick. Karen, call the police. They'll see she's a thief. Me, okay, I'm so over this. I will gladly wait for the police, and I'll press charges for harassment, attempted damage to my property, and hitting me. I've never stolen anything in my life, except for a candy when I was 5, and I felt so guilty that I went back and tattled on myself. Manager, let's calm down. Karen, liar, you stole my donuts. Me, very calmly, no, I merely took back my donuts that you took out of my cart. Employee, let's review the tapes. Me, gladly, but can I please sit down? I'm really not feeling well. Karen, faker. The police were called, and when they reviewed the tapes, Karen sat smugly, expecting to be vindicated. But the footage showed everything: Karen harassing me, taking my donuts, and hitting me. A police officer took our statements, and when Karen started yelling at me, he asked her to stop. When she didn't, he handcuffed her, informing her that she'd be charged with disturbing the peace and possibly more if I press charges for harassment and assault. She turned pale. The manager, wanting to smooth things over, gave me a gift card and said, with a wink, that I could have a job anytime I wanted. I did press charges, which I considered dropping, but after Karen made me throw up in public from the stress, I decided she deserved some humiliation too. I planned to use the gift card for classroom supplies like tissues and hand sanitizer and food for my homeless students. The manager even upgraded the $20 gift card to $100 when I told her what I'd use it for. My students will have food for the weekends for several weeks. So, thank you, Karen, and thanks to the Thrifty Acres. Story 4. A family member of mine was recently involved in a parking lot accident. According to what they told me, they were backing out of a parking spot when another driver got impatient and tried to go around them. The result? Fam backed into the other car. No injuries, just a bit of bent metal. They exchanged information, as you do. Not even 20 minutes later, this other driver starts blowing up Fam's phone, trying to shake them down for money, claiming it was all Fam's fault. The other driver even threatened to sue unless Fam met them right away and paid cash. My family member doesn't have much experience with this kind of stuff and was genuinely scared. Thankfully, instead of giving in, they had the other driver call me. So, my phone rings, and the other driver is ranting and raving, saying they're going to sue and that it's all my family's fault. Me. All right, calm down. Why don't you tell me your side of the story? The other driver claims that they were sitting perfectly still, about 50 feet back, and that my family member backed into them, burning rubber, or something ridiculous like that. He says he doesn't want to involve the police, but if he doesn't get paid right now, he's going to follow the law and call the cops to sue. Me? Follow the law, you say? Great idea. Let's do that. I ask him, by the way, was the damage to your car over $1,000? Other driver, yeah, sure as hell it was. Me? Did you file a police report then? Other driver, no, I don't want to get your family in trouble. I just want to fix my car. Me. Well, if the damage is over $1,000, we're required by law to report it. Don't worry, I'll get the report set up, and Fam can give their statement. The police will contact you for your side. Suddenly, he changes his tune. Other driver, no, we don't have to go through all that. It's an old car. It probably isn't even worth $1,000. Me. But earlier you said. Other driver, look, man, I know what I said, but we don't need to get the law involved. Me. I'm just trying to make sure our insurance doesn't deny your claim. I'll go ahead and file the report anyway. Thanks, bye, click. After hanging up, I called the non-emergency police line, explained the situation, and gave them Fam's details. I also told them that my family member was a bit overwhelmed and needed some guidance. Officer Friendly called my family member, took their statement, and got all the details. The other driver's contact info, license plate, and insurance, plus the story about how the other driver was demanding cash. Officer Friendly asked for my number, and we had a quick chat. I explained what had happened and the conversation I had with the other driver. He told me he'd handle it and get back to me. Not 5 minutes later, my phone rings again, and guess who it is? The other driver. Other driver? Please, I'm not going to make a claim or sue. Just tell the cops it was a mistake, and I wasn't even there. Me. Sorry, I can't do that. I'm not about to lie to the police. Other driver. Screw you, you jerk, click. A few days later, I got a call from a buddy of mine who works in law enforcement. Buddy? Hey, did your family get into some sort of mess with a guy who seemed a bit off? Me. What do you mean? Buddy. The accident. I saw family name come up, so I helped out a little. Turns out, the other driver didn't even own the car. The actual owner had no idea it was in our city or that it had been in an accident. They thought their grandkid had it in their home city. When they called the grandkid, he said his girlfriend had borrowed it to visit her mom. The grandkid was shocked when I told him what happened. He didn't even know about the accident. Me. What happened to the other driver? Buddy. Turns out he had a bench warrant out of another county, which explains why he didn't want to deal with us nice officers. He was actually believed to be in another state. The girlfriend told us where to find him, and we picked him up. That county is sending someone to transfer him. He'll be here for about another week if you want to say hello. Me. Nah, I'm good. Just glad it's all sorted out. And just like that, the situation was taken care of, all because the other driver got a little too greedy and pushy. Story 5. So, here's a little background about me. I've got a bunch of health issues, which means I take a lot of medications. The important one for this story is my anti-sickness medicine, ondansetron. Due to some issues here in the UK, getting my medications has been a nightmare. My anti-sickness meds have been the hardest to find, so I'm rationing what little I have until I can get more. It's also worth noting that I'm clearly disabled. I walk with a cane, wear a sunflower lanyard, and the left side of my face has dropped due to a stroke. Basically, if you look at me, you know I'm disabled. Oh, and one more thing, it was the 3rd of June, my birthday, which had already been pretty lousy. I was on the bus that day, feeling sick, tired, and in pain. I just come from the pharmacy with no luck getting my meds. It was my birthday, but I couldn't even enjoy my cake without feeling worse. I was sitting in the disabled seats, head against the window, music in my ears, trying not to cry. Then, my earphones died, so I reached into my bag to grab my wired ones. While I was digging around, this dad got on the bus with his kid. I didn't pay much attention until I heard him clear his throat. Entitled Dad, my child needs to sit there. I looked up, confused, since there were plenty of open seats, including the one next to me. Me. I'm sorry, but I need this seat, as you can see. Your child is welcome to sit next to me, or you can pick any other seat. I wasn't exactly polite, but I was in no mood. The dad just huffed and sat down elsewhere. I thought that was the end of it. But then his kid started whining about wanting to sit where I was. The dad ignored him, and the whining continued. Meanwhile, my nausea was getting worse, so I reluctantly pulled out my anti-sickness meds. I struggled to open the bottle. It had one of those annoying child-proof caps. Before I could manage it, though, the dad grabbed my meds out of my hand. He stormed up to the bus driver, shouting that I was taking drugs on the bus and should be arrested. The bus driver pulled over and got out of his cab. At this point, I just couldn't handle it anymore and burst into tears. The bus driver, an older man who knows me, reassured everyone. Bus driver, M isn't taking drugs, they're taking their medication. At this point, a kind lady sat next to me, wrapped her arm around me, and comforted me while I cried. Everything felt overwhelming. It was my birthday, I wasn't feeling well, and now I couldn't even take my medication. To make matters worse, the lady's soap smelled like the one my grandmother used, which only made me miss her more. The entitled dad realized how badly he'd messed up, but he still tried to make excuses. I couldn't really hear him through my sobs, but he was clearly trying to justify himself. The bus driver wasn't having any of it. Bus driver, give them their meds back and get off the bus. He took my meds from the dad, grabbed a bottle of water from my bag, and helped me take my medication. Even though I took the pill, I was still really upset. Thankfully, the bus driver knew my aunt, so he called her to come pick me up. Update. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for the kind messages. I thought I'd give a little update. I've managed to get about half of my due meds, so I've been able to enjoy a bit of my birthday cake. It's a simple sponge with fresh cream and royal icing. Nothing fancy, but my mom made it, so it's incredibly special. As for the entitled dad, a complaint has been filed, including CCTV footage of him grabbing my meds. Since I'm classified as a vulnerable adult, it's now a police matter. It's not exactly what I wanted, as it feels a bit harsh, but we'll see what happens. Something nice came out of all this, though. The kind lady who comforted me on the bus came into the bookstore where I work the other day. It turns out we know each other from the hospital, and she also knows my mom. We had lunch together after my shift, and it was really lovely. She's taken to calling me Blue Eye because of my blue hair and love for the show. I've missed my grandmother so much, and while no one could ever replace her, it feels like I've gained a little bit of her back through this friendship. The lady even brought me shepherd's pie for dinner, which was so sweet, especially since my parents are away right now. It's been a bright spot in what was otherwise a rough time. Story 6. So, I worked for the help desk at our local city council. One early morning, around 5:30 am, my mom burst into my room, startling me and my cat. Still half asleep, I asked her why she was yelling. Clearly panicked, she told me the police were on the phone asking for me. My first thoughts were, what did I do? And did I even do anything? Still groggy, I walked downstairs, grabbed the phone, and mumbled, "Yes." "Police officer." "God dang it, it's always the same with you guys. Don't you know it's market day?" "Me? Yeah, every Wednesday, right? It's been every Wednesday since around 1302 ad. After all." "Police officer." "What? Are you trying to make a joke out of this?" Me slowly waking up. "No, Police officer cutting me off, furious. "Your car is on the market square, and they can't set up their stalls. Get over here now and move it." The IT department was right next to the market square, so sometimes the car stayed parked there overnight. Me. "Okay, no problem. I'll be right there." Usually, I rode my bike to work, but since this seemed urgent, I asked my dad, who had woken up from my mom's frantic behavior, to drive me to the market square. On the way, I explained the situation to him. Dad chuckling, "Don't do anything stupid." Me grinning, "Hey, it's the cops." My dad just shook his head, knowing that doing something stupid was kind of my specialty. If a police officer tells you to do something, you do it, right? We arrived at the market square, where people were already setting up stalls except for the spot where I saw the hardware department's car parked, with a police car behind it, lights flashing. I got out of the car and slowly walked over to the two officers standing nearby. One of them immediately launched into a tirade about how you IT guys always think you run everything, which, to be fair, we kind of did, including their IT. Once he paused, I calmly asked him what he wanted me to do. Police officer nearly yelling, "Move that car." Me, "Are you sure?" That was enough to make him truly lose it. He started screaming incoherently about arrest, jail, and a lot of other things. Me, all right, calm down. I'll move the car. Let me go up to the office and grab the keys." So, I went up to the office and ran into our cleaning coffee lady. "Cleaning lady, what are you doing here so early?" Me, "The hardware department's car is blocking the market stalls, and the police want me to move it." Lady confused, "But that's not your department, right?" Me sighing, "Nope. Do you know where the keys are?" We found the keys quickly, and I asked her to come with me because, honestly, the cops were making me nervous. She kindly agreed. When we got back down, it was clear the officer hadn't calmed down. He marched up to us, and, without saying a word, I tried to hand him the keys. He didn't notice because he was too busy yelling, "Move that car." Lady looked at me and said, "But you." I shrugged and gave her a roguish smile. She shook her head, smiling. Me calmly, "So, you're telling me I have to move the car?" I've seen cops get mad, but I'd never seen one turn this red. He pulled out his nightstick and took a step forward, as if he was about to either arrest me or knock me over the head. I quickly made my way over to the car, muttering things like "under duress" and "not my job" under my breath. I got in the car, fumbled with the keys for a moment, and after a few tries, I finally started it. The car sputtered forward and stopped. I tried again, and this time the car took off like a rocket. All I remember from the short drive was seeing our cleaning lady burst out laughing just before I plowed straight into the police car. Getting out, a bit dazed, I saw the two officers standing there, white as sheets, completely stunned. Me stammering, I don't know how to drive. I just answer phones and help people. So yeah, they had called the only person in the entire IT department who didn't have a driver's license and just worked on the phones. And of course, someone who doesn't really enjoy dealing with the police, especially when woken up hours before my shift. I didn't face any consequences, though. The CCTV cameras had recorded everything, with audio, and the cleaning lady had clearly heard the cop order me to move the car. Plus, it didn't hurt that I had known the mayor since I was 12. So, the takeaway? Always do what the police tell you, even if you don't know how to drive.